This episode covers topics surrounding mental health, including suicide. If you or someone you know is struggling, help is available. In the US, you can call or text 988 for support. Again, that's 988.
So is soaking real?
It is very real.
Have you soaked, Joshua?
If you want to get married to a woman and have children, you need to go on a mission. And I had already been very deeply internally battling gay thoughts. So I was like, well, fuck, now I have to go on a mission. This actually might be my very first podcast ever now that I'm thinking about it.
We're making history today, Joshua Johnston's first podcast. Hey everyone, I'm Mitchell, and welcome back to Let's Unpack That. Today I'm so excited to have my friend and one of the people behind my favorite cookie company, Just Chippies, co-hosting with me today, Colman Feighan. Welcome back. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me back, Mitchie boy. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad you enjoyed the cookies. I will give you a sprinkles cookie for every time I just accidentally call you Mitchie. You get one sprinkles cookie coming your way.
Guys, everyone listening to this, do not get any ideas. I have worked years to break through the Mitch name. I have gone on a hardcore branding campaign to become Mitchell, but Colman, you have permission, but we cannot let this spread past this space. I can't be Demi Lovato from Camp Rock, but I'm so excited to have you here and so excited to have this week's guest. I have loved following his content over the years. He is one of the most creative people. His content is so cool. I've been seeing it since COVID, and he's been on my list for a while for people to try to get on the pod, and I'm so excited that it is happening today. Joshua Johnston, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. I am so honored that you even reached out to me to be on this. This actually might be my very first podcast ever now that I'm thinking about it.
We're making history today, Joshua Johnston's first podcast.
And I want in on those cookies as well.
Listen, you were the one that coined Mitchie, so I'll call you Joshy, I'll call him Mitchie, and then you both get cookies.
I understand trying to brand yourself as your full name, because I try and get people to call me Joshua all the time, but it never ever sticks. So
yeah,
we're in the same boat. I get it.
I think I was called Mitch so much growing up that I felt like it was tied to who I was at the time. That now it's I don't feel like that person at all anymore.
New identity.
Yes, I'm trying to evolve past it, but select people get permission, and I'll give you guys both permission to be the only people in the world that can call me Mitchie. If I hear a single person, this is a warning to those listening who know me in real life. If I hear a single person call me Mitchie, there's going to be consequences. I cannot stand. Well, Joshua, I'm so excited to get into you and your story. We have so much to unpack. But before we do that, I start off every single episode of the pod with hyperfixations. I feel like I have a new obsession or something that I'm loving. Every single day it changes. And as a gay podcast, it feels like the appropriate place to share those things. So I'll go first and then Colman, and then we'll hand it over to Joshua. My hyperfixation this week, I was talking about Harry Styles' new album this week with a friend, and they mentioned his song Satellite via text. And the first thing that came into my mind when I read that text, because his name was not attributed to the name, growing up, I was hardcore into YouTubers releasing songs. And there's this one song by Gabby Hanna, aka The Gabby Show, called Satellite, and I revisited it and it was so bad, but I remember at the time when it came out in 2016 that I was so locked in, and it makes me realize that something about people from social media releasing music is honestly, I think it cures everything. I think it solves so many problems. The amount of iconic diss tracks that we've gotten over the years, all the things that the Hype House was making during COVID that really made no sense, but was just fun. I think Tana Mojo's discography that's so iconic. I think internet stars just need to start making music again, because at least I personally yearn for more fun and whimsy in the world. And it's okay that not every single piece of music needs to be a Grammy worthy piece of art. It's okay to have fun and just express yourselves and drag people a little bit, So my hyperfixation is social media star music. I think we need more of it. We need to bring it back.
I love a public discourse. When somebody writes a diss track about somebody else, I am invested. So I agree.
Has anyone ever written a song about you, Joshua?
Oh, we'll get into that another time, actually. But yes, somebody has.
Okay. Wow. Well, Colman, what is your hyperfixation?
My hot boy walks. Every morning, I literally walk like an hour and a half along the beach. I started doing it like a month and a half ago. And so my walks are my new, I can't do anything until I do my walks in the morning, and specifically along the beach shirtless. So I have to, it's a must.
Are there like hot people around when you're doing these shirtless early morning walks, Colman?
I'm so locked in, truly,
Okay.
to whatever the path in front of me. I'm not paying attention.
Wow.
It's a hot boy walk because you make it the hot boy walk.
Yeah, normally the people walking past me, I feel like when I am paying attention, they're moms.
Okay.
I love that.
So you're giving the moms a
mom.
little commotion for
Yeah.
their book club group chat. Well, Joshua, what is your hyperfixation?
Well, in honor of this being a gay podcast, I have been on repeat is B-Rex's new song, New Religion. Have you guys heard it?
I feel like I may have heard it the other day.
Right now, she is doing this thing where she's like releasing a new song from her album every 2 weeks, basically.
Okay.
And like every week you get a vote to decide which one is released. And that was the one from last week. And it is a banger. It makes me want to go dance and like go out all night, even though I'm not really that type of person. But that's what, like the vibes it gives. And I just listen to it on repeat over and over and over. I think I probably only listened to that song all day today at the gym.
So it's going to be like number one on your Spotify Wrapped.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm glad you just said that though, because I always thought there was something wrong with me. But when I hear a song, I'll play it for the entire workout. Like it's one singular song, whole workout.
I mean, maybe it is weird, but I think I would totally support it and I do it.
Sometimes a song just scratches that itch in your brain and you want to keep scratching the itch and you have to
Totally.
just repeat it like 200 times back to back. And I think we need to normalize that.
That was Sports Car for me last year. Now it's New Religion.
Is BB Rexa a new like top artist for you? Like, or have you been like a loyal listener?
No, I never listened to her, like ever.
Okay.
But now I think I'm becoming a BB Rexa stan, so.
Love.
The other hyperfixation I was going to say is, have you guys tried from H Mart? They're like those Asian ice cream fruit popsicles, and they look like real pieces of fruit. So they have
No.
like peach ones, they have mango ones, but they actually look like a mango, but then you bite into it and it's ice cream.
Oh no. Wow.
Oh my gosh. I think they've been like viral on like TikTok and stuff here and there, but they are so good. I went there and like bought a whole pack of them, and they have a bunch of different flavors, and every time I go there I buy them.
I love to start getting into your story and unpacking all of it by having you like introduce yourself. Like if someone's listening to this and they have no idea who you are, they've never seen your content before or anything, what would you want them to know about you? So who is Joshua Johnston?
I don't know what I would say exactly. I would say I'm a creative. I'm an entrepreneur. I love being outdoors, and I just love being able to experience all the greatness of life. Like that's what I strive for. I've been through like a few different journeys of I feel like it's a constant journey, evolving, figuring out what my content is. But at the current moment, and what I feel most drawn to is it's always been fashion at the root of it. I feel like it's always like the kind of base layer there. But right now I do a lot of creative lifestyle videos as well. Like I do a lot of hosting, interesting like tablescapes and party setups. And I also do a lot of interesting fashion try-ons and like fashion pieces and styling videos. To put it all into one category, I would call it creative lifestyle. That's kind of what I've branded myself as, I guess, because I am the type of person who just likes to experience and explore all different types of things.
Yes, and your mind comes up with the coolest things. I highly recommend everyone checking it out if you haven't already. But let's work up to what you do now. So I want to go back to the beginning and you growing up. What was young Joshua like? What was his life like growing up?
Young Joshua was And I feel like this ties into what I just said about like wanting to experience the most of life. I feel like I've always been a very like free-spirited person, and I think that that's how I was raised. I was raised outdoors a lot and used my imagination a lot, and I grew up being very creative and silly and weird and a little nerdy and quirky and fun. I remember like my mom's friends would always just tell me that I was like a little ray of sunshine, basically. It's so weird because I'm sure you guys feel this way, but when you look back at yourself, I'm like, I don't even know who that person was. And like you go through different phases of life, and I'm like, every single one of those people is so different. But the childhood version of yourself is like something that I always try and hold on to, and I always try and hold on to pieces of that, because there's nothing like just having that childlike freedom and that childlike feeling.
Like finding that joy and the carefreeness that you have then, and trying to find ways to bring that like into your life as an adult, because just because we're a little bit older doesn't mean we can't have that same joy and fun in our day-to-day.
Yeah, I'm very much a yearner, and I find myself yearning and like craving for the past a lot, like that carefreeness of childhood from the past. So sometimes when I like experience those things or feel those things as an adult, I'll literally like stop in my tracks, and I'm like, whoa, like that's like what like that reminds me of, like, and that's what life, I don't know, I think that's what life is all about.
Absolutely agree. When you were younger, did you find yourself like, you know, because now you're doing, you know, all these cool videos and making like these cool like setups and draping things and kind of doing like set design to a degree, like were you doing stuff like that growing up? Like were there signs of your creative side early on?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like my entire life, as young as I can remember, I would get creative with anything that I could get my hands on. And I think a lot of that started with like the holidays, was like setting up for the holidays, and like I wanted to be the one to like decorate the house for the holidays. And like I remember being like 8 years old and like putting lights on every single tree in our front yard for Christmas. And I would always be like, Mom, there's not enough lights, we need more lights, because I would just like want to keep going. So I think from just a very young age I had these like creative desires, and I would like build furniture. I would build like mini, even like set design things for like the holidays and like Christmas and Halloween. And I was building things for my room or building things around my house. I've just like have always loved being creative.
I mean, how easily you build some of that stuff in your videos is very impressive, because I know it's a lot of work, but it just is like, woo, there's a curtain here and a curtain there, and it then all just of a sudden looks magical. And I'm like, wow, that would have taken me a year to do this and then make the video to make it look like this, and he somehow did it in an hour, which is very impressive.
That's very nice of you to say.
What were the scales of these facades like? Like, do you have an example of like the types of things that you would make?
Some of them were pretty big. So I guess this is gonna like kind of tie into the story of me growing up Mormon, but it's not a requirement, but it's very much, everybody hopes that you'll become like an Eagle Scout, basically. So yeah, have you guys heard of Scouts? Like I feel like everybody's heard of Scouts, right?
Yeah.
Like Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, like Girl Scouts, but for boys. To become an Eagle Scout, you have to do a project. So I built like a full haunted house out of like walls. Like I basically built an entire maze with like set designs and props and stuff. And I think I did that when I was like 16 or 15. And in order to get in, you had to donate food. So there was like a line all the way like around the block, and like people were wanting to see it. So I'd say that was definitely like more of a larger scale thing that I did, but partly it was, I just wanted to do it because it was fun, because I liked building things. I was like, I'm going to build it. Like it went through like our garage and then out the back, but it was like full on like maze with like wood, like made of wood walls and everything. So it was like I don't really tell very many people that, because I used to be really embarrassed about it, actually.
It's so cool.
Yeah, but, like I want to go through the maze.
Yeah. Did you do it all by yourself, or was there like people helping you?
My mom and my stepdad would help me here and there, but for the most part would just do it, and I would work on it hours a day. But I would like never want anybody to know that I was the one doing it. So I would like, because I just liked building things. So I would do that, and then I would just not tell anybody ever that I was doing that. It was very secret.
You mentioned you were Mormon. Did you grow up in Utah?
No, I moved around a lot, but I was in California for the first 12 years of my life, and then Seattle, Washington, and then Utah after that. So I kind of bopped around a bit, and then I finished my last year of high school in Utah. So I was always Mormon, but didn't get to the Mormon capital until I was a little bit later on in my life.
It was like a pilgrimage. You made your way there gradually. What was your experience like growing up Mormon? How would you describe it to an outsider?
It's almost like a really exclusive club that you're not allowed to get into unless you're baptized. Growing up, like I was only friends with members of the church. I would only hang out with people from church. I would like go to school and like I would talk to people, whatever, like know people, but like the people that I was allowed to hang out with outside of school were only from the church.
Was that intentional?
Yeah, I think it was unintentional in my mind, but like that's kind of like what the church teaches you and what your parents teach you. They're like, oh, well, you shouldn't be hanging out with that kid because their family isn't Mormon, or like they don't have the same beliefs as us. So like you need to only hang out with people who have your same beliefs. So I just like, it's so weird because as a kid, that's all you're taught. So back then I was just like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. But then obviously growing up, I'm like, that is really messed up actually, because that's kind of like the opposite of what love is, and that's what the church is supposed to teach is love. Being raised that way, I was just like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. Like I shouldn't hang out with those people, or like I think in my mind I would even view them as like, oh, they're like a little like bit bad almost. So I would kind of like stay away from those types of people, which is so funny because like bad meaning like, oh, they maybe drink alcohol here and there, or they drink coffee, or they swear. Yeah. Because you weren't allowed to do any of that stuff. So if like I was around somebody and they said a swear word, I'd be like, like, oh gosh, I should not be around this person anymore.
So based off of the videos that I've seen online, not yours, just of Mormons in general, are you saying now you would rather drink coffee than kill a puppy? Because I feel like all the students on BYU campus say, I'd rather kill the puppy than drink the coffee.
No, those are crazy. And I hate even saying this, but like I understand their mindset about it. I obviously don't agree with that. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. But having come from that place, I understand the way that their mind is working. But now it's like, that is so stupid. Because some people literally will be like, yeah, I mean, drinking coffee is a sin, so I need to kill the dog. And I'm like, so you'd rather murder a puppy? Like, it's just the way that you're trained to believe something.
What is like pressuring you to conform to that? Like, is there like a punishment on the other side, or is there like some sort of, like, what do you think was ingrained in you to make you be like, oh, I have to believe this, especially as you got older and maybe you started to be around more people who were different?
I mean, aside from just that being the only thing that you know, like you're taught that if you don't obey the rules or the commandments, then it's like they don't say you're going to go to hell or anything for like drinking coffee, but it's just marked as something that's really bad. And basically in the church, you just want to be as close to perfect as you can. Like you're trying to be like the most like Jesus that you can be. So when you do things that are against the rules, you're not working towards that. So anytime you break a rule, it's like, oh my gosh, now I have to repent or like ask for forgiveness for what I've done because that was so bad. And like, it's almost like taking a step back, I guess.
Sure.
The punishment is damnation.
But well, it's so interesting because there's so many reality shows now with like Mormons or former Mormons where they always talk about these rules, and it's like, oh, so-and-so owns a tequila company, and that means like they're not a Mormon. And like sometimes people can kind of get away with blurring the lines a little bit. As you got older, like into high school, were you ever like breaking those rules? Like, oh, I want to go and drink, or I want to do X, Y, and Z, or like were you just like locked in on, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that?
I was pretty locked in for the most part, except for I had a girlfriend in high school, and we definitely did some things that you're like not supposed to. Like you're only like if you have a girlfriend, you're like only supposed to kiss. And if you go beyond and do anything beyond that, it's like, whoa, like you're not even supposed to really make out with your girlfriend.
So is soaking real?
It is very real.
Have you soaked, Joshua?
I have not actually, and I am proud to say that I was just like, whatever, if we're going to do this, we may as well do it. You know what I'm saying? You
were okay, let's just go all the way. We're not going to do this loophole.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like all the way, but just like other things, you know?
Sure. Sure.
But soaking is very much a thing, especially at the Mormon colleges, because people think that, oh, well, if I like put it in, but I don't move back and forth, then it's not having sex.
How do they come up with the person that goes under the bed? That's what I want to know. How do you get chosen to be that person? Like, what's going on there?
I don't know, because that seems more messed up than anything to me. Like, beyond having sex, why do you want somebody below you?
Can you guys describe soaking for those who maybe don't know exactly how it works if they're listening?
So soaking is when you don't want to actually participate in the act of having sex because it's a sin. So the guy... Am I allowed to like say?
Yeah, you can say anything you want on this podcast,
okay,
Joshua.
Yep. Okay, so the guy takes his penis and puts it inside the girl, and then instead of fucking the girl, you just hold it still, and that technically is not having sex. But once you're in there, you obviously have those like desires to actually have sex. So somebody goes under the bed and will like push it back and forth so that you're not actually the one making the movement of having sex. Somebody else is doing it. So technically you're not
Somebody
having
else is
sex.
under the bed kicking the mattress to make you move.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I know. I'm like, it's really, really, really dumb. Or sometimes with soaking, you just hold it there because you don't want to have sex and like have to ask for forgiveness for it, so you just stick it in and you hold it there. And I've never done that, so I don't know what you do when you're just sitting there and then you're like, okay, now what?
And you can't kiss or anything, so what are you gonna do? Just like stare at each other, staring contest?
Yeah.
Once you turned 18, do you think that the expectations of you within the church changed at all?
Yeah, because when boys turn 18, they are supposed to go serve missions, which is basically you get assigned to go, like, leave home for 2 years, and it can be anywhere in the world. And you're supposed to go and teach people about the church. So once you turn 18 and, like, once you graduate high school, it's kind of like, okay, everybody, it's like this pressure that's like, okay, like, when are you going to go now? Or, like... So that was definitely an expectation that once I graduated high school, I was like, okay, shit, now I like really got to figure out what to do with my life. And that was ultimately the next step. Even though I did have a choice, you're not forced to go. It's like a big no-no if you don't go. And it's very, very pressured, especially for the boys of the church. So I ended up going on a mission. I didn't want to. I like fought with my parents about it, but I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, this is just what I have to do if I want to be like obedient to God and live like a good life and like get into heaven. That's what I thought. So I was like, well, I guess I gotta go. So
is that just ingrained in you growing up?
Well, aside from it just being a huge expectation, and all the leaders of the church are constantly pushing it and telling boys, like, you need to go and serve a mission. Like, this is what you are supposed to do. There's a thing called a patriarch, and basically, like, every area has one. And it's basically this, like, older guy who is, like, ordained of God. And basically, he gives you a blessing, and it's supposed to be inspired from God. So, like, you go to his house, and he, like, puts his hands on your head, and then he like closes his eyes and like basically gets inspiration from God. And everybody is most people get one, like around that age, you're supposed to get a blessing to like help guide your life from that point on. So I went and got mine, and I remember telling myself, if he says that I have to go on a mission in this blessing, then I will go. But if he doesn't, I'm going to take that as a sign that it's not necessary for me. And then I was like sitting there, and then he was like, we were like almost, I think we were like pretty much almost all the way through it. And I was like, yes, like I'm not going to have to go. And then he eventually said, if you want to get married to a woman and have children, you need to go on a mission. And I had already been like very deeply internally battling gay thoughts. So I was like, well, fuck, now I have to go on a mission. So that was like the ultimate deciding factor for me, because I thought I will not be able to marry a girl if I don't do this.
How long did you go to Mexico for?
I went there for 2 years. You don't get to choose. You get assigned randomly where you're going to go. And they tell you, you get a letter from the church and it says, Elder Johnston, you are hereby called to serve in the Aguascalientes, Mexico mission for 2 years, speaking Spanish. Like that's the first line of the letter that mine said. And you have like, we could go into so many different avenues about like the church, but you have like parties basically where like if you get a letter, you invite like all your friends and family over, and like everybody's gathered around in the room, and you like open it and read it in front of everybody, and like everybody guesses where you're gonna go, and people have like maps, and they make a party out of it, and then like you read it to everybody, and then everybody screams and cheers and everybody cries, and you're like, oh, that's so amazing.
There's a scene on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Lisa Barlow is one of the main people on that show, and her son Jack went to Colombia, I think, or something like that. And there's they filmed that scene when they found out, and there was like 200 people at their house, like weeping at the news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the parties, and it's not weeping in a bad way. It's weeping because they're like, oh, I'm so like, this is the most beautiful, amazing thing ever.
Wow.
I was weeping for other reasons. I don't know about everybody else, but I was
that is wild.
Fuck, now I have to go.
When you open that letter and it says like speaking Spanish, like had you ever taken Spanish class before getting that letter?
No, I mean, I had taken like Spanish in high school, but I didn't know anything. I literally, I could not hold a conversation, understand anything. So if you are assigned to speak a language, you get sent to like a training center as part of your mission, like 6 weeks before, depending on how extensive the language is. Mine was 6 weeks. So I went there for 6 weeks, learned Spanish, and you basically learn the basics of how to teach people in Spanish. So I learned to talk about like Jesus. I learned to talk about the lessons that the church gives you, and then you're just like kind of put out there to teach people after that point.
You have to see Book of Mormon. Like you have to see whenever you go to New York. That's a must see, because it's like such a funny show. But like hearing you say this, I'm like, oh my gosh, the show. It's such a like a exaggeration almost. But now I'm like, is it though? Is it really an exaggeration of the Mormon culture? Because it's like the same thing.
Well, I've actually heard quite a few people who have been on missions say it's actually very accurate. Obviously, they make it very comical and a little bit more dramatic, but as far as what they actually do and the way they act and the things they say, it is very factually realistic from what I've heard and what I've been told. So I am dying to see it, because I would be interested to see what it's like.
Need to make it happen. There's literally a whole song about trying to limit your gay thoughts. Could you like give us an example? Like if you're going to someone's house, or you get assigned somewhere to go and try to, get people to be introduced to the church, like what was your day in the life process?
Okay, so you wake up 6:30 every single day. Like you are not allowed to sleep in past 6:30. So like the alarm goes off, you get up. Like you're not supposed to sleep in. You're supposed to exercise for 30 minutes. So that could be go on a run, if you have weights in your house, whatever it is. And then you have 30 minutes to eat breakfast, and then an hour to get ready. But like all of that's kind of intertwined. And then you study for an hour by yourself. You study like the lessons, the church lessons, and then the Book of Mormon, the Bible, all of that things. And then you study with your companion for an hour. And then for me, I had an hour of language study every day. And then you immediately leave. And it's like it is a time schedule. Like they basically tell you if you're not obedient to everything, like to the dot, then you are not going to be like do well, basically, because God sees that you're not obeying the rules, so you're gonna be like punished essentially, or like not be taken seriously. They tell you all these different things, and then you go out and you just talk to people in the street. So like we would have like little cards, and we would go and try and everybody you see. Like they tell you, talk to every single person you see. So you're like, hi, 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 hi. It's really like a good way to challenge your social anxiety because it doesn't matter where you are or who it is. You are supposed to talk to anyone and everyone. And that's what we did. And you're supposed to get them to invite you back to their home like another day. So you talk to everybody, give them a short little lesson about the church or God or whatever. And then they say whether or not they want you to come and teach them at their home. And if they say yes, then it's like a fuck yeah, we got like a person to teach. And then you basically try and teach them enough so that you can baptize them. And that's morning till night every single day. So every day we'd walk miles and miles and miles because we didn't have cars or bikes where I was. It was just, a lot of it was like dirt roads or just like smaller towns. So we would just walk everywhere.
Did you have like quotas to hit?
They give you a certain amount of the lessons that you want to hit per week. They give you a certain amount of people that you try and like baptize per week. A certain amount of people you talk to, a certain amount of people you call. So it really is very businessy. Looking back on it, it's like we were salesmen, basically.
You were hitting those damn KPIs.
Yeah, I was hitting my steps too. I was walking so much every day. I was on the skinny mini.
Honestly, if you wore like your Mormon uniform for Halloween at the right party, I feel like that would eat down. Like the musical gays would probably like gag.
I've also learned that a lot of people have like Mormon like kinks.
Oh.
Or like missionary kinks. Like they think it's hot if they think you're like a religious person. Or like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like garments before. It's like the underwear that you wear underneath everything.
Okay.
I've like had a lot of people that I used to talk to like way back in the day. They asked me to like if I could wear that and like asked if I still wore it and like thought it was so hot. And I was like, what? But it's like a very, very frequent thing. Or like you'll tell somebody you're a missionary and they're like, oh, that's so hot. And I'm like, what? No, that was traumatizing. That's not hot.
I mean, no wonder Book of Mormon's been on Broadway for so long. These people got to get their fix. Did you have any time off at all? Like, were you talking to anyone at the time or was it just day in and day out on that schedule?
Oh, no. No, it's day in, day out. I had 30 minutes a week on Mondays that I could email my family.
That is insane.
Yeah. So it's like in those 30 minutes, you could do what you want with that in those 30 minutes to email whoever you wanted. But it was like, I would like literally email my mom and then I would send out like a big group email, like update. But then by the time I did that, my time was basically up. And I was writing a girlfriend that I had back home at the time. So I would like write her too. And I would literally I would get on the computer and literally type as fast as I could. You get to FaceTime though for like 30 minutes to an hour once on Mother's Day and then once on Christmas. So you get to FaceTime your family 4 times in the 2 years that you're gone.
Wow.
Insane. I have nothing intelligent to say to that. That's just wild.
How did you feel like mentally, like as the mission went on? Like, were you locked into doing it or were you like counting down the days for it to be over?
I was counting down the motherfucking days for sure. Like the first 6 months was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my entire life. Because some people love it. And then some people are like, this is my life's purpose. But then like someone like me who was like, I'm only doing this because I feel like I have to. I hated. I was so depressed the first 6 months. And then once I hit like a year, I was pretty fine. Because by then I was like completely fluent and I like had, you know, kind of like made friends around the town and I wasn't as stressed as like, because when you don't speak Spanish and you are in another country in like a small town, it is so isolating and lonely. And I remember just being like, I literally don't have one person to talk to. Because even if I wanted to talk to my companion, I couldn't because he couldn't understand. So it was like, I'd have to like look in the dictionary and be like, how do you say I have to take a shit? You know, or like look up different sentences and things to say.
It honestly sounds like, though, I've never been to jail, but it sounds like Never been there, never been on a Mormon mission. But I think if I was given the option to go to jail or go to a Mormon mission, sounds like you have more phone calls, more food, and more free time in jail than you do on your Mormon missions, and more people to talk to.
Low key. I mean, some people thrive on their missions and say it's the best 2 years of my life. And I do not know what the fuck is wrong with those people, because I don't get it. It's like when you're so convinced that like, this is my purpose, this is what God wants me to do. I guess it's something you're passionate about, makes you happy. I just didn't feel that way. So at this point, I probably would take jail as well.
No, yeah, to each their own. I mean, I'm sure it's very fulfilling for some people, but if I was given the option based off of everything you've just said and what I know about jail, I think I'm gonna go with jail. Like that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously good things. Like I fell in love with a lot of like the people, the culture, the food, like a lot of aspects culturally, I guess, about Mexico, and it has a really special place in my heart. I have a Te Amo tattoo, which means I love you, but I kind of like got that from Mexico because I was like, it did shape me in a lot of ways, and there are things that I do love and appreciate it. And even to this day, when I go to Spanish-speaking countries, like I can speak Spanish and fluently and communicate with people. So I think that's like a big positive that came out of it, and just learning to be super independent and kind of fend for myself and talk to people and like publicly talk to, because I had to like talk to congregations and stuff. So it's like, I think I learned a lot of life skills outside of that, but don't know if it's necessarily worth it.
I love your positive recollection, finding the silver lining from the experience. Do you remember the last day of your mission and coming home?
Yeah. So I got sent home like a month early because I developed really bad back problems from carrying around like basically a backpack full of Book of Mormons every day that we were trying to hand out to people. And it got so bad that like they like sent me home because I needed to like recover basically. So they sent me home a month early, and I remember counting down the days until I was able to come home. But then when they called me and they were like, you need to go home like in a couple days, I was like, and I cried so hard. And I think part of it was because I did fall in love with a lot of things about the culture, and that had been my life for 2 years. So there were parts of it that I did love. But then I also was just like, this is not happening. Like I imagined that day coming so many times that I couldn't even believe that it was real, that like I actually was able to go home, that I was like, they were like, you can call your mom and like talk to her, and like we already told her that you're coming home. And I remember just being like talking to her on the phone, and she was crying, but she was like, I'm so proud of you. Like there's nothing to be ashamed of for coming home early, even though it was only like 4 weeks. Because in that moment when I was on my mission, I thought, I literally am going to be here. I'm never going to get home, because every day felt like an eternity. So even now looking back on it, it's weird to be like, I can't believe like I used to be in that time period and be like, I can't even imagine the day when I'm going to like be able to go about my regular life anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it's like a completely different culture being there versus home, just in terms of like what your life is like and what you're around in the day to day. What was the adjustment like then coming back home?
The adjustment is a lot, because you 24/7 only think about the church and teaching lessons and God. And like at that point I was like dreaming in Spanish, and I only thought in Spanish, and I only really spoke Spanish. So then when I came back, I had like a thick Mexican accent, which was funny because like this like redheaded white boy like has a Mexican accent, and like I would be talking in English, but I would still be talking like this because like that's how they just what the accent is, Yeah. But I was so used to being there that like everybody would be like, you have an accent, and I'd be like, no, I don't. But I didn't realize that I did. So that was an adjustment, was even just the language, which is kind of funny since like English is obviously my first language, but there's a lot of things you just get used to. So then I have to be like, wait, how do you say that in English again? It is just a big adjustment going back and being like, okay, now I can like decide what I want to do with my life. Like, do I want to go to school? Do I want to date people? Do I like, what do you like? Do I get a job? What do I do? And it's really hard at first because you're so used to 24/7 dedicating your life to something that you get home and you're just kind of like a second of silence and not doing something. You're like, like you almost start panicking a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to do with my time? Once you're able to start making some decisions on what you want your life to be, like, what does that look like? Are you starting to talk to guys? Are you able to feel more comfortable, like, exploring those feelings you were having before, or no?
So when I got back, I remember thinking, okay, I did my time. I was like, I like did what I was told to do. And like now I should be able to marry like a woman. And I think in my eyes that meant that I wouldn't be attracted to men anymore. So when I got home, I was like, nah, those feelings are definitely still there. So I would like go on dates here and there. And like I met up with the girl that I had dated before my mission. And like, obviously I didn't know what I was doing, but I feel bad for dragging her on for that long. But she like low key, she like kind of wanted to start dating, and like even we talked about getting married, and I was like, I don't know if like that's right for me. So I kind of took some time, and eventually I like met a guy who I didn't even realize was gay at the time, but then we started hanging out and like basically fell in love with each other and dated each other secretly for a year. And I didn't tell anybody. I had like kept it. I mean, I'm sure people knew, but I just didn't tell anybody. That whole time dating him, I was like, this is a sin. Like, I can't be dating a guy. Like, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. So it takes a while to get out of that mindset. Because that's when I was 21. So I don't think it was until I was like 24 or 25 when I was like, I feel like good about being gay, basically. Like, it's not a problem for me anymore.
Yeah, an uphill battle to try to unlearn all those things that had been ingrained in you. So you're seeing this guy, you're dating for a year. Like, is Utah the long-term plan, or do you move elsewhere?
I guess I didn't really know at the time. Having grown up in California, I was always wanting to like end up back here at some point. I feel like something in my soul is just drawn so heavily towards California. That anywhere else that I've lived outside of California, I've always been like, I miss it. I want to be back there. So I think deep down, I knew that like at some point I wanted to be back here. But I like, after dating that guy, I kind of like tried to date girls again because I thought this is the only way for me. And then that didn't really work out, and I ended up coming out. I came out as bi first, as I feel like a lot of people do. And then I came out as gay like 6 months down the road. And then I only did to a few people, my mom being one at the time. And then my dad eventually said that he got a job in California because my parents were divorced by that time. So, but they both lived in Utah because he wanted to be close to his kids. So he told me, well, I like got a job in California and I'm moving there and in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, I'm coming with you. Cause I was like, that's my shot back. So I moved to California and I moved in with him for like a year while I kind of got my feet on the ground. And that's when I kind of like started making money off of social media. And I was like, maybe this like, I never thought it would be a career ever. I remember getting back from my mission and a couple of my friends had like been doing social media while I was gone. And this was only in the days of Instagram. TikTok wasn't even a thing like at all. This was in like the Pinterest, Tumblr, Instagram days. And I came back from my mission. Some of them were like making money off of it. And I was like, what? But that was like in the very first days of brand deals. Like I remember my friend being like, I made $1,000 off of to post this picture. And I remember being like, you're joking. Like, how is that even real? Because in high school, I always did like photography and stuff. I always have loved photography. So that's how it started for me, social media wise, was just creative photography. And then once I found out my friends were making money, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep doing this and like build a following myself. So that's how it kind of like led into that moment.
Wow. Well, you escaped to California and you're living with your dad. What was it like living with him?
It was really fun because he moved to Carlsbad. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's like pretty close to San Diego. And he was like pretty close to the beach. He lived in like a cute little small house. I lived with him for like a year, and that was a very hard time of my life because I was still like figuring out how my feelings surrounding being gay and surrounding the church. So it was a roller coaster, but I was just happy to be back in California and like taking photos and making money off of social media like at the time. And then I hadn't told my dad before I moved actually, and then somebody else told him, and then he called me, and I remember being like, fuck, because I was so scared to tell him. He was like the person I feared the most, which I feel like a lot of people fear telling their dads specifically. But he called me and he was like, hey, so like so-and-so like told me that you're gay. And I remember just being like, but then immediately after, like the only thing he said about it was, I totally get it. Cause like if somebody told me that I couldn't like vagina, like I totally understand. Like I would hate that. And I was like, he was like, and personally, I think like chick on chick is super hot. And I'm like, okay, so he doesn't care. So that was a good reaction. And then he literally was just like, he was like, it literally doesn't matter to me.
That's awesome.
So
That is a new way to tell somebody you're an ally. Listen, I'm all for chick on chick. Like,
yeah. That made coming out a lot easier knowing that I had him there, and like he literally did not care, and I could talk to him about anything and like didn't matter. I think I misunderstood my dad for a lot of his life because he was like, he would work a lot, and like I felt like I didn't know him super well until I moved in with him, and then like we had like such a different type of bond and connection. I had like 2 years of living with him there, and then once I moved to LA and I've been here for the past 5 years, I would go like back and forth, and I would like stay at his house like very frequently on like the weekends, or like we would meet up and like have beach days, or I would go to like meet up halfway or grab lunch or whatever. So I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to live with him because I felt like it was completely changed our relationship. And like, I'm so grateful that I was able to experience having a parent that was like so beyond supportive. Cause I know that a lot of people don't have any parents that are supportive, you know? So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Well, and I can imagine, especially as your career and your social presence continued to grow and you did more and more and more, like having that rock to keep you grounded and helping you navigate all of that. But speaking of your content, you started with those creative photographs where you would do like different things on your face and like different objects. How did you think to do that? And do you have a favorite?
I don't know how that happened, honestly. We would always take, just like my friends and I would take fun creative photos. Like we'd go down to like the train tracks or like take pictures of each other, like so Pinteresty Tumblr vibes back in like 2012 or 14 or 16, whenever that was. So I don't really know how it transitioned to that. I think it's because I used to take pictures of other people, and then I started doing like self-timer things and thought it was fun to just like experiment. Before getting on the podcast, I actually looked up because I was like, I feel like he might ask me something about that. And I couldn't find any of my camera roll, but I Googled my old name, like my social media name, and like a bunch of them came up. So like these were like kind of the things that I would do.
Oh my gosh. Wait, that's you?
What? Yeah. I know, I look very different.
A different person.
I know. Wow. But if you see I'm like down there, you can like kind of see what it used to be.
Those are sick.
I think this is one of my favorite.
Those are so cool.
I can just imagine Pinterest eating those up.
At the time, every time I would post one, I would gain like thousands of followers just from posting like one photo. And I think this is like the one my first ones were like with butterflies. Like I would do things like this, where they just have like fake butterflies, which it's funny because like now it's like whatever. But at the time, those would get me like crazy engagement.
Wow.
So you've gone through a full rebrand. Like if you said your old social media name, like you've changed the whole name on social media too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a rebrand.
It is. People used to know me for Josh to Joe. Like my friends would call me that because my handle was Josh JJO. Like if you type that in on Pinterest, you'll find a lot of those like old pictures that I used to post because I've deleted them on my Pinterest and my Instagram, but they're like floating around. But yeah, now I changed it to just my name, Joshua Johnston, because I mean, social media has changed so much. Like at that time, it was only pictures.
Well, while you were doing that and then also kind of starting to embrace like your sexuality and who you were and who you liked, do you think that like both doing that content and then kind of evolving into fashion and stuff kind of alongside like the personal work you were doing, do you think that kind of helped you break through a lot of that stuff that Mormonism like ingrained into you?
100%, because I think that one of the hardest things that I had a problem with after Mormonism was like finding myself deserving of love. So I think doing those types of things were almost a way of showing myself love in some sort of weird way. And just like realizing that like attention for myself was okay and love for myself was okay. And like doing things that I thought were cool or fun were okay. And kind of putting myself at the forefront for once in my life.
Did that decision to leave the church like come naturally, or was it something that was a hard hurdle to break through?
I think how I experienced it and how most people do is you just very slowly kind of stop going to church, and then you stop doing things that are associated with the church, and then you little by little start doing things that are against the rules. Like I started drinking coffee, and then like I started swearing here and there, and then like I eventually started drinking. It was like a slow detachment from the church, but there was a lot of things that I just didn't agree with, especially when it came to, I felt like there was like a lot of past racism in the church, and there was a lot of obviously hate around being queer and unacceptance with the queer community, and just so many things that I just felt like I wasn't aligned with and I didn't agree with, to the point where I was like, I don't want to be associated with this. I think there was just like a tipping point for me when I was like, okay, enough is enough, and I've seen there's too many negative things for me to want to be tied to this still, even though like my family all is. I was just kind of like, I'm going to remove myself, because like that's just what made me feel best.
During this time, is that when you were starting to work on your jewelry brand, Oshawa, or had that already been in the works?
I had done little like merch drops here and there. Like when I was doing the portraits years ago, I did a lot of flower portraits with like flowers all over my face, like the ones that I showed you. So I did a merch drop with like these little bee necklaces that I made. And I would say that was like the birth of the idea of it, because I had always wanted to start some sort of brand, but Oshawa didn't come into fruition until 3 years ago, maybe, when I started working on it. And I was like, okay, wait, I want to make a jewelry brand, like specifically like necklaces, like make unisex pieces, especially for guys. Like this is one of my pieces right now, which this is actually taken from a stone from the beach that I used to live at with my dad. So it's a lot of them have like little deeper meanings and are like specifically molded from memories that I have or like experiences that I've had. Like I have another shell, like choker necklace, and those are all taken from a certain beach that I would always go to. Yeah, so it kind of started alongside the journey of social media, because people would always ask me like where I get my jewelry, because I used to wear rings on every single finger. So I was like, I want to do jewelry. Like I love jewelry. I love accessories. So I just started designing my own, and like slowly but surely it's been coming about.
What would you pick if you could only pick one thing? The earrings, the necklace, or the rings? You could only wear one accessory. What would it be?
Oh my gosh. Probably the necklaces. I feel like a necklace is just so, it can just pull a whole outfit together.
Finding a good necklace is like the biggest challenge. I feel like I need your guidance, Joshua, on the best necklaces. And I looked, and you have so many cool stuff on your website, and I saw that Benson Boone has worn some of it before. I think that bee necklace specifically. How did that happen?
I have a friend who is his stylist, and because I used to work in celebrity styling. So
Oh,
he
okay.
was friends
Lore.
with Benson, and I basically was just like, hey, if Benson wants a necklace, here it is. And he was like, okay. And then he had just like ended up wearing that all on his first tour. And then I made him some custom pieces, which he like then wore to like a bunch of different events. That's like step one in getting it on certain names, because I think Benson's really cool and like I respect him as an artist, so I would love to get it on more people, but that's just
Yeah.
kind of how it started with him.
Well, now that we have this lore of celebrity styling, when were you doing that? And has that been a kind of a way that you've been able to help grow the brand too?
So the celebrity styling, I was more of an assistant.
Okay.
I became friends with somebody who is an amazing stylist, Jordan Dorso, and I started working with him, and I was like, hey, if you ever need like help, let me know. Like I would love to learn about the industry. So he lives in New York, so I started handling a lot of his clients here when he wasn't here. So I would do a handful of people, and I think that he introduced me to a lot of like brands for sure and connections, and like he does a lot of amazing people. Like we did Madison Beer together quite a few times, and like he taught me a lot about the fashion industry. So I think that's definitely a stepping stone, and I have a lot of connections from that now too that I'm able to leverage even like for my own social media, like in fashion.
What are the go-to stores? Like, because you're not buying that red ab chested plate and the thong pants from Abercrombie. Like, where are we getting this? Like, I want that stuff, but where are we getting it from?
Scour.
Like, what are your go-to, like, go-to hidden gems?
I scour the internet. That's the truth, is that there isn't one specific place. I think probably one of my favorite brands, if you want more like unique, kind of like sexier pieces, is Salt Murphy. It's a Parisian brand. My friend Mark owns it, but it's like blown up in the last few years. And that's where I wear a lot of pieces very frequently from them. They have like a lot of kind of like the Romanesque Greek type vibes. But for those other pieces, like the thong underwear, the chest plate, all these, you should see some of the pieces I have coming next week. They're insane.
Do people send you this stuff, or are you like looking for it?
Most of it I look for. Sometimes they'll send
Okay.
it to me, but or like brands will send me stuff.
Sure.
But like the weird things, I will scour my For You page basically on Instagram. And then I will
Okay.
reach out to every single brand that I see, and I'll just ask for a loan. I'm like, can you just like let me borrow this for a week? And then I'll send it back. And I'm always like, I'm happy to pay for the shipping. Just like, let me know. So sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. But it just depends what's available and if they're wanting to work with creators or not.
I just wrote down Salt Murphy because I've gotten one thing off of Instagram, my For You page, and it was, this is what I ordered and this is what I got.
Oh,
and
and
it
it's
could
very
not
different.
have been further from what the photo was. And I was like, okay, never again.
Yeah.
Not getting anything from there.
Yeah. No, check out Salt Murphy. They're really cool. They have like a bunch of
No, it's good
different,
to
they
know.
have things that are a little more out there and a little more simple, but just overall like good quality, beautiful pieces.
Noted. Well, you have such a cool eye for fashion and design. Like you truly, I mean, you find the coolest stuff and you present it in the coolest way ever. And clearly it's, have done so many cool videos and design, both with like fashion and the environments you create. In like the past, 6 years since you've been doing social media, is there something that you're most proud of?
That's a good question. I've never thought about this once. I mean, one of the things that I just am so grateful for every single day is the fact that I have like an audience in order to share this stuff with. And I mean, I'm sure Colman, you feel a certain way too about that, but it's like, I feel so grateful that I can even call this work, because every day it's what I'm most passionate about and like what I genuinely love doing. I love creating, and the opportunities that it gives me to share like my stupid, weird fashion and like home ideas with people. Like sometimes I'm like, I can't believe like people watch these and like I'm getting paid to do this. So I think, I don't know if I can say there's like one specific thing, but just that is just like being able to do social media as my job is genuinely a dream come true. And even though I've been doing it for 6 years, I'm like, every single day, I'm so grateful that I get to do this.
Yeah. And it looks like you're having a lot of fun doing it too.
I love it. It's so fun. People take it too seriously, and I think I was taking it really serious for a while, and now I'm loving it again because I am just like, who cares? Like, I'm just gonna wear weird things and like have fun. Like, that's the whole point of fashion. And being creative is just expressing yourself in ways that you find enjoyable.
Having your dad nearby and in your corner as you grew and continued to find success and creativity, what did that mean to you?
It was very, very, very meaningful to me because even as I first began doing social media like 6-7 years ago, I didn't get a lot of support from other members of my family. It was always kind of like, why are you doing that? Like, don't do that. You're not going to make money from it. And I remember always just being like, I don't care. And typically when I have a feeling about something or when I want to do something, I'm very stubborn and like, I'm going to do it anyways. It doesn't matter what you tell me. I'm going to do it. Even if it's the wrong decision, I need to learn that for myself. So the fact that he was so supportive about everything, like any brand deal I got, any partnership, any opportunity that came from social media, even as I was building it, like I remember being like, I got paid $500 for this. And he was like, that is amazing. Like, keep going. So that was a really something that I wasn't used to and I wasn't expecting from him when I moved in with him. So I think that was definitely like meant to be for me to move in with him as I did years ago, because I don't know if I would be where I am now without that type of encouragement, you know, and like somebody who's just like consistently supportive.
Well, last year you shared that your dad passed away. How did you process that and work through that?
I mean, I think I'm still working through it and processing it because it was very unexpected. I don't share this with a lot of people, but he passed away from suicide, which was like super unexpected out of nowhere because it's been like over a year now, and I had just seen him, spent the whole week with him for Thanksgiving, and then that happened like 2 weeks later or something like that. And so it was just completely out of nowhere and like so shocking to the point where I think for the first 6 months, I didn't really process it. Like I was kind of numb. Like I was like, what? Like, did that happen? Because it was very like traumatic the way that everything went down and like being at the hospital and stuff after all that. So if, I mean, anybody like listening has like ever lost anybody, especially a parent, I think you understand how like up and down grief is and how like the healing cycle is, where like one day you might be fine and then the next day you'll be like totally not fine, or like one day you'll be so happy and then the next day you're just kind of like, what? Like I find myself reprocessing it, like trying to like reprocess it like over and over and over. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like every day I'm like learning what it's like to be okay, because as we've talked about, he was like my biggest supporter as far as like family to me. So that was something that like I was always like so grateful for. And then this coming out of nowhere unexpectedly was like, just felt like such a loss for me in like my life outside of even a parent, because it was having somebody who was like so constantly there for me and so supportive. So I don't really know how I'm processing it, to be honest, because it's so up and down. I think I just try and honor him in a lot of ways, and I'm trying to just learn that it's okay not to understand everything and not to have closure about everything, because I don't have closure and I never will in this life, at least. So that's something that's really hard to accept and just move on from. So I think every day I just try and live my life or do things that would honor him. Like, so often I think about like, oh, I wish I could tell him about like this trip that I'm going on. Cause like I recently went on a trip to Lake Tahoe, and I always would send him pictures of trips that I would go on, because he would like appreciate that so much. And he taught me to like love the outdoors and love traveling. So it's weird. Like I'll sometimes will still text his number, pictures. I know it sounds kind of sad probably, but I'll like text him pictures from my trips, even if they don't go through, because I'm like, it's like I don't know. I just try and like do things that honor him. But then it's also in those moments where I'm like, oh, like I can't just like drive down and see him or like call him to ask him about something. So it's definitely been a really, really hard because it's felt very, I don't think I realized how lonely it would feel without him here.
I mean, one, thank you for sharing that. And I'm sorry that has happened. There's really nothing anybody can ever say in this situation that like makes it all better and all go away. It's a fact of life, and it's like a very unfortunate, like sad and thing. And I think that's the thing with grief, at least like I've learned from like personal experiences, is it's the one, and I've learned in therapy as well. It's like unfortunate, but it's like the thing about life that it's grief is the one emotion that like never actually goes away. Like once you have it, it's just like there. It just like shows up in different ways throughout time. And there can be beauty in that maybe down the road. And then, but in the early instances, it's just kind of like, what the fuck? It's sad, it's mad, it's angry. It's all of that, those emotions. And then it'll show up as laughter and like reminiscing and memories down the road. But it's just like, I think grief is so hard because it's the one emotion that just like, once it enters it will always forever be there, just in different variables and ways. And it's just figuring out and like learning how to live with that, and then honor him, like you said, in what you're doing and what you're creating and what you're putting out there. Because his memory still shows up, and what he taught you growing up. And I mean, you are who you are partially because of him and your mom and your friends and like all the different factors in your life. So taking that with you as you move, which but yeah.
And that ditto to all that. I'm so sorry for that it happened, and thank you for sharing it. I know I'm sure a lot of people listening can maybe gone through similar things and can, relate to the things that you're going through. To even hear about, you mentioned earlier with Joshua, like including, parts of your memories with him in the stuff that you're putting out there to honor him and to share that love and connection that you guys had together with the world, I think is really a great way to honor him and his legacy.
A lot of the time we're unaware of how many people around us have gone through similar experiences or are experiencing things in some degree, that can like relate to these types of things. So I think it is like at the same time important to talk about and not just act like it never happened, because I've only said that like my dad passed away, but I've never gone into the whole what it's like to experience suicide, let alone like a parent committing suicide. So I don't know, maybe this is like a door open to kind of talking about that journey, because I do think it's important, and like a lot of people can be helped and like not feel as alone or relate or whatever.
Yeah. When you did like share that he passed away, like there was, so much support for you there. And I know that whatever you do continue to share or to, the process and what you're going through with people, I'm sure that love will continue. And I know that both Colman and I are sending all that love and support your way as you, continue to work through this and honor him. How do you want people to remember him?
I think about this a lot, actually, because I always think that like a lot of my friends I have never got the chance to meet him. A few of them did, and they know like a lot of things about him. But it's really interesting to just think about the fact that like one day if like I get married or if I have a family, it's like my partner's never going to know who he was, or like my kids are never going to know who he was. So it's like that's a really hard thing for me to think about. But I guess how I would want people to remember him is like, what I could say about him is that he was just the most selfless person I've literally ever known in my entire life. And anybody who knows him or knew him would say the same thing. Like, he would take in literally any animal off the street. He would sometimes take in like people off the street that we didn't really know, where he'd be like, oh yeah, so-and-so's staying with us tonight, and be like, what? Like, why? Like, I don't, like, he would constantly be doing things like that, or give people, he would give anybody money anywhere we went. He wasn't like wealthy or anything like that, but constantly just giving, and like never thought about himself once. So I think that I want people to remember that, and I want to carry that part of him with me, because there are a lot of qualities that I have or things that will happen, and I realize like, oh, I'm doing that because of my dad, or like I am this way because of him. So I think those are ways that like I'll be able to kind of show people who he was and carry on his legacy, I guess.
Based on all of that, it sounds like he really lived his life with a lot of love for other people. It's a powerful trait to have. I think the world needs a little bit more love.
I agree, especially nowadays.
Yeah. We were gonna play a game, but we're out of time, so I'm gonna skip over that and go to the question I like to ask at the end of whenever someone comes on this podcast for the first time. Joshua, if you think of a younger version of yourself, maybe the version of Joshua who was building facades or creating haunted houses, what advice would you give to him?
I don't know. I actually have no idea. Stay true to yourself, King. You are gay, and you can be out and proud about it. Like, I think that if I would have accepted that part about myself, it would have changed a big trajectory of my life. But at the same time, I'm a big believer in like things are meant to happen the way that they're supposed to. So I would just say, stay strong, little guy. Life gets so much better, because I think that when you're in dark places, it's easy to not be able to see that, but you just gotta get through the hard times, and the best days of your life are yet to come. That's probably what I would say.
Lock in and you'll get there. Yeah.
Lock in.
Joshua, thank you so much for doing this and being here. If people are not following you already, do you want to give them your socials so they can follow you?
My socials are at Joshua Johnston with a T. And then they're basically the same on all my platforms. So you look up Joshua Johnston and I should pop up. Because one thing about me is I'm going to snag that username.
Period.
I'm going to snag that handle.
Period. It's a pretty iconic name. Like, that's a brand. Like, trademark that.
I appreciate that, because I used to be like, I have the whitest name ever. But now it's kind of like it's catching on to me, and I'm starting to enjoy it.
Colman, thank you as well for being here and guest hosting with me. Give everyone your socials so they can make sure they never stay with their toxic ex.
Some people are just stupid, so they'll go back regardless. But in time, hopefully I can help you. You deserve better. It's Colman Feighan. There's no E in Colman, okay? It's not Coleman. Spell it correctly and I'll pop up, all right? Love you.
Well, thank you both, and thank you guys for listening. You guys can follow the podcast on Instagram at UnpackTHT and on TikTok at UnpackThatPod. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.